Big smile. Here we go. Well, hey, everybody. It's 3 p.m. and it is time for dinner with Nanny Bubby. How are you? How is everybody? Let me get my screen up. Oh, gosh. I lost my screen. One moment. There we go. Here, along with me, is Lisa Spector. Hello, Lisa. So happy to have you joining me today.
I am so thrilled to be here. Thank you for inviting me, Marla.
Oh, you're so welcome. So we're going to give everybody just a minute to find us, and I need to refresh my screen here so I can see. Okay, so this, whoops, let me turn down my audio so that we don't get feedback. And joining us first off, Lisa, I have to tell you, is Lucy Insulaco. Lucy was my stage manager in the late 70s, early 80s when I did television here in Las Vegas. And yesterday I did not show up. She was very upset. Where was I? And Sue Plattner is also joining us, and Randy Marvin is here. So a lot of people are coming back. I did not show up yesterday, gang. Teresa is here. Oh my gosh, they're all coming in. All my buddies here. All my gatherers are here. I will tell you, everybody, I worked my tail off literally all weekend. I was on my feet from 4:30 in the morning on Sunday until 9:30 at night. We had the best time. We broke in my outdoor kitchen. We, brought in the Super Bowl. Family was here. And believe it or not, everybody that was here was either been immunized or actually had COVID. So it was not a super spreader event, you guys, not a super spreader. And, but when I got into bed at 9:30 on on Sunday, I was so exhausted. And I couldn't even get showered yesterday. So I didn't show up because I wasn't showered and I was too tired to even think. And we ate leftovers. And so forgive me, but I'm back. I'm back with Lisa. So we're doing an interview today. So let me tell you just a little bit about Lisa. Lisa, do you want to say anything? What did you do for Super Bowl? Anything?
I am not a football fan, so I just got my own thing done. I went for a hike. Sorry, I only saw the news later who won.
Yes, well, I'm not really a football fan, but I'm a gatherer fan. So any excuse to bring family and friends together was really, really terrific for me. So I want to bring everybody in and tell each and every one of you why Lisa is here. So to start with, Lisa is a Juilliard graduate. She's an alum of Juilliard Music School is what I call it. Hello there, Sherry Barassa. Thanks for being here. What do you call Juilliard? A conservatory?
Juilliard School, the Juilliard School, and then it has music, dance, and drama are the three departments.
And so tell me, and just tell all of us, I always hear about Juilliard graduates. I know some of the most fabulous musicians and dancers in the world, right? And also drama. Do they do drama? Dance, music, and drama have come out of Juilliard. I'm sure you could name many alums that we all know very well. But what does one have to do to get into Juilliard?
Luckily, I went there when I was really young. So I didn't know how hard it was when you're younger and people haven't told you enough. So I was so naive with something like a 3%, I don't know, really low acceptance rate. It was the only school I applied to because it was the only place I wanted to go. And here you are, you're a senior in high school, and your entire next 4 years depends on a 15-minute audition. They don't look at your grades. They don't look at what you've done. They don't even, not even about the competitions you've won. It's all about 15 minutes.
So when you say really young, you didn't go when you were 8 years old. You went in high school. Is that what happened? Is that young? Okay.
Yeah. I did not. I grew up in Syracuse, New York, which is about 6 hours away. So I didn't go to Juilliard preschool. Many of my friends had. Or Manhattan, but those 15 minutes you prepare about an hour of music, and there's a panel of 6 jury members from the faculty. They're very famous. You've heard about them, and in those days none of them are no longer anymore alive. So they're older and they're really esteemed, and they're in suits, and they're all men. And you walk in and you have an hour of music, and they have you jump around. They have okay, play the fugue of this and the coda of this and the last minute movement of that, and you just have to be prepared for that. And it's 15 minutes, and your career kind of depends on it at that point.
Wow, that's amazing. That's amazing. That's I mean, to be able to or have to audition at such a young age, and if you make it, it sets your life. And then if you don't, you don't. Now, were you living in New York at the time? Were you raised in New York?
I was raised in Syracuse, New York. So when
Oh,
I
okay.
these days, Juilliard has a dorm, but in those days they didn't. So here I am. My parents are sending me off to New York City, their youngest child, in Manhattan, and without a place to live. I mean, it was
Oh
pretty.
my gosh.
So luckily, I had played a concert with a conductor who lived with his wonderful family, who have become they become my surrogate family, my surrogate parents. They still are. I still stay with them when I go to New York. And they had two daughters a little bit younger than me in the next room, and I lived with them for 4 years.
That's amazing. And if you wonder why, everybody, all of our gatherers, why we're actually talking to Lisa today is because this is the week of love. This is the week that we are all wanting to be romanced. We want to remember our loved ones. It's like the week of Mother's Day or Father's Day. That week leading up, everybody's, what are we doing? How are we doing it? What are we doing? But Lisa has, believe it or not, an amazing offer that she's putting out there via Zoom for all the romance lovers of 1800s music, or the great classical romance music that she plays on the piano. But I'm going to keep you in suspense because I want to do a little more of an interview with Lisa before she tells you what this offer is, which is quite amazing. We're getting thumbs up and that they like the idea of this. My sister is watching. Hello there, Heather. Thank you for being here. Hello. And Saeed Sabir is here. So he shows up all the time. And I always say, Saeed, you need to give me a thumbs up or a one or something that tells me you're here, but he never does. But I can see him. So, oh, well, Saeed, one of these days you're going to talk to me. Okay. He's giving me hearts, I think. All right. So let's talk about something that you created called My Zen Pet. Now, there's a lot of people on this call or on Facebook right now who are big pet lovers, including my sister, who got a brand new dog yesterday, believe it or not. And Ruth Furman is there. Hi, Ruth. Thank you for joining us. So tell us about My Zen Pet. What did you create with My Zen Pet?
So I have a 10-year history of creating music for dogs, and I originally did it in a different company that I co-founded. I left that company a few years ago, and I recently, my non-compete ended, and I'm creating new music for My Zen Pet. I'm actually, after this, in 2 hours, I started a recording session, recording 2 more hours of music specialized for dogs. You probably can't see my black lab laying here with My Zen Pet bandana on her. And she is the sweetest thing. She's 11 years old. So I found a way to combine 2 of my biggest loves, which is dogs and music.
Oh, my.
This started, I volunteered in shelters, and then I was a volunteer puppy raiser for Guide Dogs for the Blind. And at that time, I owned a music school. And I discovered that a certain prescription of music that I was using to calm children and to help with ADD kids, to help them focus, was also working to calm dogs.
Wow.
So I was on the CBS Early Show, and my product was on Good Morning America, and I was on NPR launching this music. It was just so great. And I've kind of missed it. So I'm coming back to it. And now I play a lot of music for left hand only. We'll probably get to that part of my story.
Yes, we will.
And the music for My Zen Pet starts with left hand only because lower frequencies, which is what my left hand plays, lower frequencies have been proven to calm the canine nervous system.
Oh,
and
really?
Anxiety issues, separation.
Right, because it's the high pitch that they can hear, but whenever they hear that high pitch, they're a little more anxious. I also want to say hello to Gina Peth, who is here, who we both know, and she's very attentive and complimenting us greatly. So thank you very much, Gina. It's so nice to have you here with Lisa and me, as well as everybody else. So let's talk about this left-hand music playing. So this is the more difficult part of your story. You had a big fall, correct? And you fractured in several places your right hand, which I guess, does the right hand play the melodies normally under normal circumstances?
Right. So both hands, 10 fingers are needed generally to play piano. Typically, that's what I learned anyhow. And the music is just a little more demanding in certain ways for the right hand. So I had a really fluke accident, if you want to call it that. I fell while I was carrying a water bottle. Don't ever carry a water bottle with one finger, because when I fell, it didn't release and it literally
Oh,
touched my hand. And we didn't even know until the first surgery. The surgeon didn't, he thought there were 3 fractures. There were 7. And it turns out it needed 2 immediate surgeries. I had a diagnosis of CRPS, which is a really debilitating, sometimes called a suicide disease, because it can be so painful. And while I had that, and while I was recovering from the second surgery, I was with a hand therapist who all I wanted to do was play piano. And I said, am I going to play piano again with 2 hands? And she said, look at your hand. How could you?
oh, how
And
heartbreaking.
devastated.
Yeah.
What do
But
you mean?
Lisa, let me ask you this. Aside from that, you'd already had 2 surgeries before she so graciously told you, look at your hand, how could you? Tell me about what goes through your mind when you are on a gurney and you're going in for that first surgery on the hand that you make melody with, on the hand that is the only thing you know how to do. That's like telling me I would never be able to use a knife again. You know, what goes through the mind of you and anybody who may lose the only thing they know how to do and you're going into surgery?
You nailed it. It was my identity. It wasn't
Right.
just my hand. It was my identity. And I remember all I kept asking was, when am I going to play? When will this be over? When will I recover? When will I be playing piano again? And when I woke up from that surgery, and whatever information I was told, the surgery itself went well. All I remember is sobbing and sobbing and sobbing and sobbing, because it was just all this built up tension. And my hand's in a cast, and all I want to do is play piano. So I did. I played piano with one hand for a long time. For 2 years, I played piano with,
That's
I still
amazing.
left hand only, but I play piano now with 2 hands. And I just figured out, I was playing went to an event. It was a party, I think. I went to an event. My right hand's in a cast, and there's a piano, and I just sat down and played this little piece for left hand only. And someone came up to me in tears and said, Lisa, I used to play guitar, and I put my guitar in its case 10 years ago, and I haven't touched it because I've had arthritis in my pinky. And I
Oh,
look at you and I realize there's no more excuses. I
yeah.
need my guitar, and there's going to be a way.
Mm.
And it's become my mission to inspire other people that there is always a way. And do not let anyone tell you what you
And
can or can't do.
and it's not just piano, it's not just guitar, it's cooking, it's athletics, it's running, it's weightlifting, it's whatever your passion is. You need to have the perseverance to go for your dream. And I just want to say hello to Eric Hartwig, who is here. Hello, Eric. And also Janet Castellano is here. So thank you guys so much for joining us. I love it when people come in, and of course I have my phone here in front of me. So we're on Zoom, which translates over to Facebook, but I do see questions. So if anybody has a question for Lisa, by all means, put it in the chat and I will ask the question. Do you have a question for them, Lisa?
I have a question. So my question is there anything that you have given up because someone told you you couldn't do it?
Right.
And if that is the case, can you imagine one different way that you can do that thing? And because that's what, when you asked me what was going through my mind, immediately, if I recall, it was more about, when am I going to get my hand back? It took months and months for me to realize I didn't want my hand back, because there were so many gifts to come from my new hand. I
That's
consider
great.
that, at the time, it felt like the most devastating day. And looking back, it was the best day of my life.
Of course, if you can get through the tunnel and the light, if you can see the light, it always in hindsight is the best thing ever. But let me ask you a question. Can you just show us just a little bit with your left hand, like without playing anything, that's Beethoven or whatever, but isn't there one artist that is a left-handed composer? Is that right? That you did? There are many.
Yeah. So there are some. I'm right-handed, so my right hand's my dominant hand. But the reason I'm grateful, if I had a choice between hands to be injured, it'd be my right, because there's so much music for left hand only, and there's two reasons. One is because Paul Wittgenstein, who was a famous pianist during World War I, lost his right arm. And then there's the Bell Piano Concerto and some big works written for left hand only. And then Paul Wittgenstein rearranged a lot of classical piano for one hand. And also because when pianists get injured from overuse, whether it's tendonitis or carpal tunnel or
chopping onions,
any repetitive motion, it's almost, not always, but it's almost always the right hand. So there's demand for left hand music. But what happens neurologically, you're just, as a pianist, first of all, you're totally unergonomic. You don't have the balance, there's no center, there's no middle C, and you're totally like, you have to use your right hand to hold on sometimes. And then the first months, many months, it was like I'd get sore on my left side of my neck.
Was there an exercise? Was there an exercise that you did with your left hand on the piano to get it used to and get it warmed up?
Pretty much the exercises were the same that I did for two hands, but it was more of, if you can imagine, most of your life, your melody is here in these fingers. And all of a sudden, your melody is here.
Can you just show us a little bit of that? Can you just show us the exercise, like as an example?
I'll give you an example of, this is a Chopin etude. I'll just do a couple measures where the melody is in these two fingers, what's called your 4 and 5, your ring finger and your pinky, if you're right hand, how it's written. So the melody is up here. I worked on was a Godowsky rearrangement of that Chopin, where all notes now are in 5 fingers instead of 10, and the melody is in my most clunkiest finger, my thumb, and I've got to make that sound very lyrical, and it sounds like this.
Oh, wow. That's incredible.
And it took 6 months before those notes felt like they were music.
That's incredible. And can I just tell you, Lucy has just said that she can't do athletics anymore due to arthritic knees, and she's had 2 surgeries already, and two knee replacements, actually. One was good, one not so good. But, Lucy, you just have to continue. And Lucy said, what a wonderful pianist you are as well. But, Lucy, it's tough, but you have to, maybe you can't do what you used to do athletically, but that doesn't mean you have to give it all up. You just have to get out there.
Always a way. And my relief, my recovery really started happening when I let go of wanting to be like it used to be and make room for the beauty of what was to come, which was really so much better than what used to be.
And can I just say that you finally recovered, and Lucy and everybody else watching, they've got Tom Gallagher is watching, but everybody's giving thumbs up right now and so happy. But you said, and I love this because this is so true to all of us as we do what we do, is that you learned that you did not play music with your fingers. You played music with your
heart.
With your heart. And so, do I cook? I do not cook with a recipe. I cook with my heart. And Lucy and anybody who is making a physical shift because they can't do what they used to do, you never did that with your legs as much as you did it with your heart. Don't mistake it.
Exactly. Let your heart guide you first. It will bring you new miracles around this.
Yes.
And that came to me when I was still couldn't do much with my right hand. I was playing full concerts with my left hand. And it came to me because my identity shifted. It was like, but I'm not a left-handed pianist. I'm not a one-handed pianist, but I want my right hand. And then I want to realize it just doesn't matter how many fingers are in the keys.
No. Nothing matters. It's all state of mind. It's hard to know that when you're in the middle of it. God only knows. It's really easy for us to say it once we've been through our tunnel and come out the other side. But the truth is, and the fact of the matter is that no matter what it is, it's really a mental game. It's not a physical game, which is really why I wanted so much to have Lisa on the show with me, because I find that so many things are about your heart and about your mental perseverance. And Cynthia Berman is here, and I welcome Cynthia, who has been through many persevering things and is continuing to reinvent herself as well, the accidental farmer. And Lucy in Sulaco says, back to you, great sentiment. Now I find enjoyment making caricature boards for families. So she's drawing. I did not know that you were talented in that way, Lucy. So that's really incredible. It's amazing. It's about perseverance and all of us holding each other up. And Gina said, so great to see how you had to make that physical shift. I'm sure there were some significant mind shifts as well. And that's true, right, Lisa? So let me ask you this. I know you have one of the other reasons that her very inspirational story was important for today was also because she has the most amazing romantic offer that she is putting out there. And part of it is including me, right? So I'm excited about that. So let's talk about what you are offering for your Valentine's Day.
Right. So traditionally, Valentine's weekend has always been my annual. For 30 years, probably I've done 30, except for my injury years, I would do these romantic concerts. And when I say romantic, so there's actually a period, a century of the classical, what we know as classical music, that's actually called romantic. So it's the music of, written in the 1800s of Chopin, Rachmaninoff, and Tchaikovsky and Brahms. And that's always been my specialty. It's always been my thing that I just love to share. And I started these music menu packages for gift to Sonata around the holidays. And of course, for Valentine's, they're gift romantic music. If you're living with your sweetie, you can bring me in and I can play a Chopin scherzo and a Chopin nocturne.
Okay. When you say bring me in, so listen, this is the age of COVID. So as we are talking about bringing you in, we need to be specific. She is talking about connecting with you on Zoom and playing romantic concert piano on Zoom with you and your loved one while you eat dinner or have a glass of wine and some appetizers, or however you want to slay your dragon there, right? And
whole experience.
And let's talk about the price of some of those packages, right?
I have to look them up. I don't have it in front of me.
Okay, you can look her. So I think one of them starts at 169 or 147 or.
Oh, I think it's 97, 87, 97. It goes up. Depends on how much. It's kind of like a drop-down menu with you're ordering music instead of food, or you're ordering food with your music. So I reached out to Marla and I said, music, really heartfelt food with heartfelt music. That's something. Like that's unique.
That is. And Brenda just tuned in, so I want to say hi to Brenda as well. So we keep getting people coming in. So you can reach out to you. You will, I'm sure you'll send them a PayPal or something. They'll pay you. You show up and you play beautiful, romantic, 19th century Brahms, Rachmaninoff, all of that is it for an hour?
No, it depends. So the Chopin Scherzo, Chopin Nocturne is about 15 minutes. The shorter music packages are like 10 minutes or 15 minutes. And there's an hour of dinner music and 2 hours of dinner music. And for those who are lucky enough to gift their sweetie, I should say their sweetie is lucky enough to receive the 2 hours of dinner music, there's a bonus where you get Nanny Bubby's private time, personalized time. She comes via Zoom, she'll consult with you, and I can let you explain this too, but my understanding, you consult with the people and find out what they like, what they want to have for dinner. You cook with her during the day, dinner's ready, I come on and I provide the romantic music.
Right. So, I mean, she called me 2 weeks ago and said, hey, I want to collaborate with you. She told me what she was doing. I said, how do you see me fitting into that? She said, I don't know. I never worry about how. think about it, see if something hits you. So we came up with this idea that I would consult with the people prior to Valentine's Day. So this package, which includes me, is a either a 1 hour $9.97, I'm the bonus, or the 2 hour $18.97, right? And I would provide a recipe list and a shopping list and a kitchen tools list. And maybe 2 hours before you came on, Lisa, I would cook their dinner along with them on Zoom. And then I would leave Zoom and Lisa would come in and play 2 hours of music or an hour of music. And this is only on February 13th or 14th, correct?
Exactly. So I reserved the dinner packages for what I'm calling primetime piano, which is the 13th and the 14th. The others are available all week up until then. And it's all, I forgot to ask you, I could drop the link after we're done. I don't know if you have it available, Marla. And you
I don't. I mean, I do, but I don't know how to do it. So if you would go on to Nanny Bubby Facebook page, which is where we all are right now, and just drop the link right, underneath the chat with this interview. And then if anybody's interested in contacting you, they can do it.
It's also lisaspector.com. It's the first slide, romantic music. And it's all already set up. Like everything's like in a shopping cart. And you just choose what music you want. And if it's 2 hours of music and you get the Nanny Bubby cooking package too, then you get the whole romantic. There's not a romantic composer I could leave out in that time. And that's a lot of music.
And it has to be very romantic to cook with Nanny Bubby. My grandchildren think so. Oh my gosh. Well, Lisa, this has been just wonderful to have you. We're going to say goodbye to everybody. And I thank everybody for joining me today, especially since I was too exhausted to be here yesterday. And thank you so much for just understanding how hard I worked. And it's really funny because when I do this with my family, Lisa, I get so excited about it. And I think going into it that I'm going to take pictures and I'm going to share it on Facebook or Instagram so everybody can see what I've made. But I get so into the moment that until I wake up the next morning, I'm like, I never posted a picture. I never even took a picture because I really am truly doing what I want all of you to do, which is truly being in the moment with my family and my friends and doing the very, very, very best I can to spread love like butter. So as we leave and say goodbye, Lisa, I would love it so much. And I know everybody else would. Who wouldn't want beautiful? What are you going to play, Rachmaninoff right now? Or what are you going to do?
Rachmaninoff, D major prelude. Rachmaninoff is like the ultra romantic composer, just so rich and lush and beautiful. So it's a little bit, I'll sign off with the D major prelude, which is on my packages for Valentine's.
And before you go, I want you to know that Lucy said, Lisa, you are a gem and an inspiration. I love that. I think so too. And Thomas Meyer is watching. Oh, you have to say hello to Thomas Meyer. He's a little bit late getting in, but oh my gosh, he will love that you are going to be playing the concert, 19th century, 1800s romantic music. And all of us together right now are going to say, go out and spread love like butter. And Lisa is going to play us out. And Lisa, about how long are you going to go? And then I'll hit end.
You can hit end whenever you want. There are some challenges with Facebook artificial intelligence that they'll say it's
okay. We'll go till Facebook cuts us off. Okay, go for it. And here, ladies and gentlemen who have joined us today on Nanny Bubby Facebook page, enjoy my dear sweet friend Lisa Spector at the piano. give us an applause? Let's see if everybody will applause in the chat. Something, some heart, some thumbs up, some something in the chat. That was so beautiful, Lisa. Thank you so much. I wish you the happiest of happy Valentine's Day for you and your pup. What's your pup's name?
Nina.
What is it?
Nina.
Nina. Hello,
Dina.
Dina. Dina. Okay, here comes the hearts, the thumbs up, the everything. So on the count of 3, all of us together, ready? 1, 2, 3, go out and spread love like butter. Thank you. Mwah. Thank you, Lisa. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Love you. Bye.